These are trying times we're living in. Some investors are backing away. Others are getting more aggressive. Andy from Korea, this is your video. Let's dive in.
This is your show. This is the show where I work for you directly, taking your needs. I'm going through the MLS and I'm trying to find the best possible deal for you guys. Put down 25%. That's the perfect way to buy this. That's why real estate investing is the greatest industry in the world.
Hey, real estate investors, welcome to another episode of the MLS Search and Analysis Show here on Holton Wise TV. As always, I am your host, James Wise. I am currently coming to you right now from my home. You know, goes without saying, right? What's the term? Self-distancing, quarantining, yada, yada, this, that, coronavirus. It's wild stuff right now. And that's kind of a theme of the show today with what we're doing, right? Andy, you first of all, your name's not actually Andy. That is your English name. You are a Korean citizen. And for those of you who are unaware, most folks from Korea, we've dealt with several investors from Korea. They typically get an English name so they could do business in Cleveland or America, rather. It makes things a little bit easier. So yeah, he's going by Andy. You are an investor. You're an experienced landlord in Korea. Now, you do have a business here in America, and it's actually in the Cleveland market, which is why you're interested in picking up some rentals, because you're pretty familiar with real estate investing in general because you're a landlord in Korea, and you're familiar with the Cleveland market because you're an investor, you're an entrepreneur, you do something. What you've got right now is you've got $300,000 in cash to utilize. Now, you're setting up a separate LLC, a separate entity to do this real estate investing, so it's different from your other assets, different from your other businesses. Super smart idea for liability purposes, makes sense. Now, some questions you had to me is you're like, hey, you kind of understand, the way this all works, and you're pretty savvy, and you're kind of familiar with real estate financing, all that jazz, and it's going to be an uphill battle for you to get a loan. So you're definitely interested in paying cash if need be. But if for some reason you can get a loan as a Korean citizen here in America, you of course want to leverage your funds. What I've got for you, and I will send it to you along with the link to this video, just so everybody also is aware, folks. These videos, they go out to you private. When you contract with me to work one-on-one like Andy's done, Andy's actually done a big old package, 10 properties we're going to work on with Andy to help Andy build his portfolio. So me and Andy, we're going to be going back and forth quite a bit. When you do these, I send them to you first privately until the deals, are done or till you pass up on the deal. So along with that email, Andy, I'm going to give you a list to my lenders. Now, I have several lenders in this list that do loan to foreign citizens. I'm assuming since you have various other businesses and things of that nature, you have a TIN number. So that could help make things a little bit easier, but I can't guarantee that. So you'll just want to connect with each of those lenders, talk to them about your situation, what you can do. There's several in there. It's a crapshoot more or less when you're not a U.S. citizen in regards to getting financing. It's tough, right? The rules and regulations and what these banks are looking for is always changing. Your country of origin, that plays a role. Sometimes they're interested in some countries, not others, things of that nature. So the best I can do is set you up with them. And, we should consider it a bonus if you can get a loan. But other than that, let's probably think you're going to need to go into this spending that $300K cash. Another cool thing you can do, though, too, is because here's the thing, right? Some of these lenders, they like to do like big portfolio loans, but they don't like to do little, smaller loans, right? They don't necessarily want to take a loan out on like a $60,000 property or $40,000 property. See, that's the thing, guys. Lenders, right? When they write loans, they prefer to write big loans. They don't really like to write small loans. So when you're a foreign person, someone from outside of the United States, you're not living in the United States of America. That's already, for a lender perspective, a more high-risk loan. And the bigger the deal, the more they get paid. The smaller the deal, the less they get paid. And typically on smaller deals, as these property values start to go down, that also increases the lender's risk. So you got to look at this from a lender's perspective. Maybe you agree with it, maybe you don't, but hey, this is what lenders are thinking. So I just want to give you an idea so you understand the lay of the land, right? So with that in mind, what you could possibly do is utilize your full 300,000, pick up a portfolio of properties. If they're not willing to write you individual loans on these properties right now, you might be able to buy $300,000 worth of properties, and perhaps you'll have six or so, and then we can go to the lenders like, hey, I have six properties all in the U.S. Maybe you've owned them for a year or two. Here's my tax return so you can see I'm collecting income, and then we could refinance that money out in one big blanket loan for you, and then you could expand your portfolio. That might be an option. So that addresses all of your questions on the LLC and the lending, being that you are, a foreign national. So all of that is how we're going to handle that. Now, as far as the properties, right? So you came to me after the COVID-19, after the coronavirus hysteria has already been out there, right? You're like, yo, man, hey, I want to invest. Let's do these 10 properties. I hope things are going okay with you and your company, and coronavirus doesn't affect you guys that much. Just wanted to touch on the coronavirus real quick. It seems like I got two types of investors, okay? One group of investors, they see the coronavirus and they're like, whoa, this is rough. This is tough. But you know what? Other people are panicking. I'm going to remain calm and I'm going to be aggressive, and I might be able to, get myself some better deals because there's less competition because some people are backing away, which is very true. And that's actually how I believe. I'm not saying we need to take advantage of a tough situation. I'm just saying, hey, let's remain calm and, let's just, it is what it is. If there is less buyer investor demand, that means the cost of that supply is going to go down, right? That's just how it is, guys. You know, I'm not saying take advantage of the situation, but let's be calm and let's look at it, right? These are the cards we were dealt, and we should play the game accordingly. And then the second type of investor, those are the investors that are scared, right? They are nervous, and understandably so. This is rough stuff, right? What I can tell you is Holton Wise, we are operating as close to normal as possible. Obviously, I'm at my home. I'm not in the normal studio. We have non-essential employees that can work from offsite locations, working from offsite locations. We have closed the public lobby to one of our offices, our property management office, where the tenants go. But truth be told, Holton Wise is, we're more or less a tech company that deals in real estate, right? We handle stuff nationwide. We work with investors from across the globe, right? You're in Korea, we're in Cleveland. So we're very well set up to handle a lot of stuff online because a lot of our business is online. So for us, it's not really affecting things too much. We still have field staff. They are still working in the field. They're being as careful as humanly possible. But things more or less are just kind of chugging along. We're providing investors with the most close to normal level of service as humanly possible. So I don't foresee any extreme major changes to how we operate Holton Wise outside of the things I just mentioned. But that being said, that does not mean I'm judging the investors who are understandably backing away from investing. I mean, these are trying times. Of course, there's always risk involved with any investment, and a worldwide viral pandemic can add to that. But that's what leads me to the first property I want you to take a look at, Andy. Now, this is a deal that I've already analyzed for another client. Okay. Now, I know you're interested in multifamily, and the second property I'm going to show you today is a multifamily. But this particular one is a single family, but the cash flow is great, great Section 8 potential. I know you're interested in Section 8. We put this particular property under contract with the sellers for $45,000. After he got my analysis, which you're about to see, we put it under contract for $45,000. We got the inspection report back, which I'm also going to send to you. So in an email, you're going to get this video, the inspection report for this property, and my list of lenders. So all three of those are coming to you. The buyer chose to exit the deal after receiving the inspection report, but talking to him, There really wasn't anything major on the inspection report that led him to that decision. It's just a lot of uncertainty in the world, and he's thinking it might make the most sense for him to keep his cash with him. He wants to be liquid during this trying time, because I did the analysis for him before, uh, the COVID-19 thing, like, worldwide pandemic, like really started. Things really started getting crazy. Everybody started shutting things down of that nature. So that's his position, and it's understandable. But you have a different position, which I agree with your position. In this particular single family home, I just think the cash flow opportunities there are great. And here's the thing: he put that under contract for 45. I now need to go to those sellers and say, hey, bad news, my buyer. He is going to exit this deal. It's just not going to work out right now. It would be very advantageous for you if at the same time I could say, but not to worry, you don't need to put it back on the market, because at this time it's still under contract. I just found out that he has backed away from this deal literally less than an hour ago. So I haven't even notified them. I'm going to notify them very shortly, but it's going to be great for you if when I notify them, we could say, hey, not to worry though. I have another buyer who has reviewed the inspection report. He's ready to come in as is, cash, no problem. And I think because of that, because the seller could be dealing with the same thing, like, oh crap, everybody's freaking out about coronavirus, COVID-19. Maybe I can't sell my property. So I was targeting a $45,000 acquisition price for my previous client, but because the lay of the land has changed a bit, Andy, I think you and I, we can target an even lower price. So for you, I'd like to say, hey, as is, $41,000, and see what they say. Maybe they come down and you save that $4,000. So without further ado, I want you to take a look at the footage now.
And let's pull up the first one, man. 2141 West 81st, Cleveland, Ohio, 44102. This is one of these properties that I love, 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 love. $55,900 is what it is currently listed at, and this is why I love it right here. 105 days on the market. That means this property has been sitting stale, and that is where the due diligence I provide for you allows us to come in and try to swoop up a good deal. Try to find some value in this property that nobody else is finding, and I think we are going to do that. And there are some very specific reasons why. The home is listed by a real estate agent out of a place called Cleveland Suburban Homes. Most real estate agents don't really work in the rental property business. Most of them are dealing with owner-occupied people, and, not a lot of them are working in these, city low-income type neighborhoods like we have here. Like this is this is about a it's a D area. It's okay. Some would make the argument it's a C, but I think more or less it's a D area. I noticed in your notes to me you're also interested in Section 8. I definitely think Section 8's the way to go, especially with this particular property. So what we have here is, in my opinion, I'm guesstimating we have an agent who doesn't usually work with this type of inventory. I could be wrong, but that's just my guess, just based on the name of the brokerage alone. Cleveland Suburban Homes. That's kind of different than what we have here. And another thing is really, really great. I wanted to see how much this particular tenant is paying in rent, because you go to all the photos, show you all the photos here, right? We got a tenant in there. Okay. We got all the tenant's belongings in the particular property, right? Nothing too fancy, just like what a regular lower income rental property is going to look like. This furnace actually does not look all that old. That's probably only about 15 years old. Hot water tank, it's probably about around 10 years old or so if I had to guess. Nothing new. But we just got like a regular old rental property. And the showing instructions, right? The showing instructions, they said you need to reach out, and they needed at least 24-hour notice so they can reach out to the tenant and schedule showings. I wasn't scheduling a showing, but I did see that, and I saw all the stuff. What I wanted to know is how much is the tenant paying? You'll get this. A lot of times you get these real estate agents that they don't work with rental properties a lot, like I said, and they're not used to dealing with rental properties. And sometimes what they don't do is they say the home is tenant occupied, and they set it all up for the showings. They give these guys, they give buyers agents like, hey, this is how you got to show the home, because they're used to, hey, you guys are my clients. You want to purchase a home? Well, step one, I'm going to drive you to the home. You guys are going to go look through the home and let me know if you like it. That's why you're paying me, right? the rental game, it's totally different. That's not how, we do things, right? First of all, you're in Southern California, you're not in Cleveland, so, showing would be difficult there, number one. Number two, showing tenant-occupied properties is, it's a mess, right? By the time the buyer tells their agent, who tells the seller's agent, who tells the seller, who tells the tenant that there's going to be a showing, and then the showing gets canceled by somebody on this side or somebody on this side, it's just a whole fucking nightmare, and that's why we don't even do buyer showings here at Holton Wise. And if you want to know why or exactly how we do it, I got a little video that explains how efficient our system is. That's in the show notes. Check that out. We are the #1 seller of rentals in Cleveland. So the whole thing is a mess, and that's how they do it. And then sometimes they miss out on things that investors like you are actually looking for. Oftentimes, they don't actually put the amount of rent the tenant is paying. They say there's a tenant, but they don't tell you that how much that tenant's actually paying. So I reached out to her because I noticed, the pictures, occupied home, right? And then the showing instructions say they got a tenant, provide 24-hour notice. So I emailed her like, hey, what's the rent? I need to know what the rent is. And they emailed me back, and they said, oh, there's actually no tenant anymore. So this, Mike, this is amazing. This is what we're going to utilize to try to get you a good deal. There is no longer a tenant, but all the owner-occupied buyers out there are under the impression that there still is a tenant because of our pictures and because of the showing instructions. So a lot of those people who are trying to buy the home and move into the home, well, they're not paying attention to this rental. They're skipping right over it because nobody wants to go through that whole daisy chain situation of going through all these problems to try to schedule a showing for a tenant-occupied property if they're going to move into it. So owner-occupied buyers might be passing over this listing. It's going to help us drive the price down. That's why it's still on the market, 105 days. In addition to that, investors out there, the investors who are looking at this property, well, they're looking, the first thing they want to know is the rent. Well, the rent's not even on the listing. They think there's a tenant. There's not really a tenant, and they don't even have their information. So this thing is being marketed inappropriately to both people. And on top of that, in the public remarks, what they said, very nice colonial for a small family, all new windows and new vinyl siding. Nice quiet street and older, quaint neighborhood close to bus lines. Owner anxious, bring all offers. Owner anxious, bring all offers. So we got a property that has been sitting on the market for a long time, 105 days. The owner is jonesing for an offer, dude. The owner's like, get this damn property off of my hands. But what you and I have found out, that the marketing, there's an error in there. People that want to purchase homes to move into, they're probably passing it up because they believe there's a tenant. Investors want a tenant. Investors want rent. The first thing they want to know is how much the rent is. That's not even available. In addition, there is actually no tenant, so it's not necessarily ideal for those people either. So because of both of those, or all of those scenarios, Mike, I think me and you could come in, get aggressive, take the fact that this owner is Jones, and we're going to try to steal this property for you, man. I'd like to see you pick this up. I know it's going to sound crazy because of the list price, but I want to see you try to pick this up for $35,000. Now, if you got to pay a little more, you got to pay like 40, 41, 42, something like that. Totally cool, man. But I believe we got all of the factors that are happening right now. I think me and you've got some good information, and we could possibly pick this thing up for you for $35,000. Now, all the photos we saw, it's what it looked like when there was another tenant in there. So we're going to have to put some money into it. You're going to have to spruce it up. And we definitely want to go Section 8 to get top of the market rents, and we want to make it really nice. So I'm anticipating you're going to spend $10,000 to renovate this. So $35,000 to buy it, $10,000 to renovate it. Total investment, $45,000. What is that $45,000 going to get you? That should get you a Section 8 tenant paying $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year. What's that going to look like? Well, we bring in $1,000. We're going to cover, we're going to budget for $50 a month. We're always going to account $50 a month for repairs and maintenance. Another $50 for vacancy and non-payment. Another $50 for CapEx. 66 for taxes, 60 for insurance. By the way, Mike, just so you know, I own a farmer's business, so we can help you or anybody else out there insure your rental properties. This particular property should only be about 60. We are one of the cheapest in the game. We shop it. We're appointed with a bunch of insurance providers, so we shop it around, get you guys the lowest price. In the show notes below, if you guys are interested in getting a quote from us on any properties, it could be in any state. We're licensed in many states. Let us know. We'll try to beat down your premiums so you guys make a little higher ROI in your rentals. 75 on the water and sewer. Lawn care shouldn't have to pay for that. Of course, you're going to have to pay for that when the home is vacant, but why the tenants are in there? Zero. You don't got to pay anybody to cut the grass. We'll make the tenants cut the grass. PM fees, $100. So on average, you should be spending approximately $451. Now, it's not $451 like every month. You're going to be saving for this, right? We get a Section 8 tenant in there. You're probably not going to ever have any, non-payment of rent issues while that tenant's in there. They might be living there 2, 3, 4 years. You're getting the rent 100% of the time. And then they move out, so then you got a couple months of vacancy. We got to fix things up. Or like repairs and capital expenditures, right? Like the roof. Got some snow on the roof, so you can't really tell how old it is, but I imagine it's not brand new. Roofs, they last about 30 years. This roof probably be about $5,000 or $6,000. That furnace in one of the photos, see if I can find it for you really quickly. We talked about this when I was showing you the photos earlier. This furnace, it might be like, I don't know. It doesn't look super old, but if I had to guess, probably, anywhere between 10 and 20 years old, I'd have to say. It looks all right. But, once it hits around 30, you might want to think about eventually replacing it when it goes down. And you're going to spend about $3,000 for that. Hot water tanks, I think the hot water tank's probably about 10 years old. That's going to be about $1,000. That's going to need to be replaced every 15 years. Now, I said I want you to spend approximately $10,000. That's just going over cosmetic stuff and some other stuff like right here on this photo. As you can see, we don't actually have any gutters. I'm hoping it looks pretty fresh right here. Maybe they were painting and they took them off or they were replacing gutters. I'm hoping there's gutters at this particular point in time. I'd imagine there is. But if there's not, that $10,000 budget I've set for you, that should allow us to go in there, get this thing looking cosmetically beautiful, get it to pass Section 8 inspection. And trust me, brother, it ain't passing Section 8 inspection without gutters. So that $10,000, that leaves us a pretty good leeway to take care of that stuff. So these things that, we're saving for, a lot of stuff's going to be taken care of. You're going to have a property in a pretty good condition, but you need to, make sure you're saving that money because eventually you're going to have to pay. And the thing with Section 8, of course, is every single year they come back in and they re-inspect the property. So, you may need to spend some of that money at the end of the year when Section 8 wants things fixed up to make sure the property hits their standards. So that is why we calculate for all of those and we do it in a line item fashion, but you're not spending those little $50 in January, February, March, April, May. You're spending a lot of zeros, and then you're getting big $2,000 bill for this or that, just to clarify. Now, from a cash flow perspective, what does all that look like? Well, if you're all into this thing for $45,000, your NOI on average will be $549. That's a 14.6 cap rate. As far as your mortgage, $26,000 mortgage, you only need to put down $87.50. Teeny mortgage payment, $110. So after you pay off the mortgage from your NOI, you should be clearing $439 a month on average, which would be a 28% cash-on-cash return because all you've got into this deal, I hit you perfectly, brother. I kept you under $20,000. All you've got into the deal should be $18,750. Your $87.50 from your down payment plus that initial $10,000 or so that I believe we'll need to spend to get this particular property rent-ready, Section 8 approved, and get you a tenant paying $1,000 a month, bringing you home that 28% cash-on-cash return. So this, my man, should be a pretty solid property. And again, that's a Section 8 tenant. So yeah, the neighborhood, it's not the greatest. It's, it's a D-class neighborhood, but with the Section 8 and the fact that we're doing a nice renovation, the income's consistent, I have a lot of properties in that particular neighborhood. I don't consider it like extremely high risk when you're going with the Section 8 program. So I'm very confident that if we do a nice renovation and put together a solid product, will very easily attract a nice Section 8 tenant, and then it's pretty smooth sailing. You take a neighborhood like this, the biggest issue is, the cash bank tenants, they lose their job, or life gets in the way, or they don't plan or budget accordingly, and then, car breaks down, so they pay for that, and they don't pay rent, and you got to evict them, and then you got to go through renovations, and it's a cycle, right? But you go Section 8, it kind of eliminates a lot of that because we're getting that guaranteed rent from the government. So I think that is a solid move.
All right, Andy, welcome back. So let our staff know, reply to the email we send you if you'd like to move forward with an offer on 21401 West 81st. I think it makes a lot of sense for you, even though it's not a multifamily. I think we should definitely get aggressive, and with the fact that you're more or less going to be paying cash, and you're comfortable with that just because of your citizenship status, that's really going to be an advantage for you in the current market right now. Now, second property I've got, this is a 2-family property, right? I know you want those 2 to 4 units. You're interested in that cash flow, right? I got the cash flow hoodie. By the way, anybody interested in this particular hoodie, go to HoltonWise.com. We are selling these. Use the promo code HWTV10. Get yourself 10% off. Now, this next property, okay, here's the situation. This is another particular property that I did another analysis for some other clients, okay?
Over 50% of those living in the greater Memphis area rent their home. This fact, combined with the high price-to-rent ratio, is why Forbes rates Memphis, Tennessee as one of the top real estate investment markets in the country. Memphis Investment Properties and their sister property management company, Reedy & Company Realtors, are among the largest and most trusted turnkey operations in this market. With over 30 years in business, a portfolio consisting of more than 2,700 active rentals, and an impeccable track record renovating over 6,000 single-family homes, it's no surprise they are one of the most reputable turnkey operations in the United States.
USREEB is a full-service turnkey provider offering investors the opportunity to purchase single-family and multifamily investment properties in Cincinnati, Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, and Kansas City, Missouri. The purchase process is seamless, from reserving a property to obtaining financing, inspections, and insurance referrals. USREEB has a dedicated team in place to manage the process from start to finish. In addition, USREEB is also directly integrated with its own private placement fund for accredited investors. The fund seeks to raise $10 million to capitalize on the repositioning of distressed single-family and multifamily real estate.
We might be seeing a lot of these situations where some of these deals are coming back, right? Because of the situations we're at with the market. I did a couple, I've actually analyzed, several properties for these folks, husband-wife couple, and we've done a lot of deals. And in the particular video, there was 2 deals. They chose to do the other one. Didn't really work out with this one. They've been building a pretty big portfolio with us, but they utilize financing, okay? It has since come to our attention that the seller is no longer willing to entertain finance offers. I can't say for sure what's in the seller's mind, but I think it might have a lot to do with COVID-19 and the seller's panicking a little bit. They just want something ironclad so they know they could close. And this multifamily, dude, the cash flow is amazing, which you're going to see. I break down all the numbers in that footage. And we were trying to target it for them for $95K. But, again, they're out of the picture on this one. This property is very much available because you're paying cash. And because the seller has said, dude, nobody but cash buyers, I think we can target this one an even better price. We were trying to get it for $95, but the fact that the seller only willing to accept cash offers, that lowers his buyer pool, number one. Number two, some investors are freaking out over the current situation in the market, so that's going to lower his buyer pool even more. So because of both of those things, I would like to target a price of $90,000 for you. If we can pick this property up for you for $90,000, Andy, man, that is a hell of a deal. So take a look at the footage.
I love when we could find properties that have been sitting on the market for too long, and I feel the reason is because they're being mismarketed, and this is another one of those. 1439 West 107th, Cleveland, Ohio, 44102. List price $99,900. Been on the market for 86 days. That's a pretty decent amount of time. And there's more information in regards to that. They actually, as I talk right now, what is today? It is March 11th, 2020. This property was originally listed for like $125,000 or $115,000, something like that, back in October of 2019, and then that listing, I think it lasted like 2 or something months like that. Then that expired. Then they listed it again 86 days ago at $115,000. The particular property was priced a little bit too high, should never have been listed originally at that price point. In addition to that, there's just some inconsistencies with some of the notes. Like if we go to the public remarks, this is a fully occupied property. So we already have 2 tenants in there. It explains that, but then, you have things in there where the listing agent's saying things like, there are multiple possibilities here. Add this gem to your investment portfolio or live in 1 unit while your tenant's rent covers the mortgage. Yeah, sure. That's great. I understand that. That is a benefit to buying an investment property, a duplex like this, if you do want to live in 1 unit, rent the other. But it shouldn't be marketed like that if both of the units are already occupied. Because, first of all, these tenants have leases. We have to assume those leases. So you get a lot of agents that focus more on the residential stuff. And then I think they just get thrown into this, rental property stuff. And they think it's similar to just regular stuff where their clients want to buy houses and move into them. And it's different, because you hear these key phrases like, oh, investment portfolio, or, oh, live in 1 unit, have the tenant pay the rent. But in this particular case, this is not an ideal property for that. So that's just one example of when the agent, by the way, the agent works out of a Russell office. I just think the agent might not necessarily, that in conjunction with the too high a price, they might not necessarily have been marketing this in the correct way. As far as the photos go too, here's the other thing, right? All the photos we have, it's of the units prior to the tenants moving in. It's when the units were vacant. Now, sometimes it makes sense to get your pictures when you do a turn before you put the tenants in there. You could use the pictures that you leased out. Use the pictures you used to lease out the units, right? To do that, so you don't have to go in and check everything out with the tenants living there. But still, we don't have an abundance of photos, and nothing really looked all that good. And I just, think it adds further to the confusion here because they're marketing it like, hey, you could live in one of these units and your tenants are going to pay the rent for your mortgage. But we do have 2 tenants anyway, but yet our photos show an empty unit. So, I think you just run into a lot of people that maybe do want to live in the unit, but then they realize they can't actually go see it whenever they want with their realtor. They can't get an understanding of like picturing themselves living there because we got another tenant stuff in there when they do get there. The whole thing, I feel like it's just a lot of confusion and really not efficiently done. But that, of course, Oren and Anastasia, is why you guys pay me to do what I do. So because of all that, I believe we can pick this thing up pretty easily for like $95,000. Maybe we'll start a little bit lower, like $92,000, $93,000, but we should fairly easy for us to pick this up for $95,000, which is a pretty solid price point for this, considering the rents are so high. This is actually different than a regular duplex. The upstairs unit is not a standard 2-1. It's actually a 4-1. So for the rents, we will be able to easily get $800 a month. And then the downstairs is paying $665, and that is a little bit lower than it should be. That we would normally be able to get up to about $750. Okay, so currently bringing in $1,465, but we can add almost $100 on that. And as far as the 4-bedroom, it's easy to get $800. That's very replicable. We could possibly bump that up maybe to $825, but I don't want to get you super excited on going much higher than that, because 8 is pretty nice, pretty good for a duplex unit. Once you start getting above $800, at that point I feel like the tenants will just want to move to single-family homes, even though there's 4 bedrooms. At that point I think they're going single-family home. So the rents we're getting right now, very close, maybe $100 or so off of pure market. So because of all that, ton of money coming in. $1,465 a month, $17,580 a year. So you pay $95,000. I think that's a solid deal. What would that look like? Well, of course, we got a budget, $73 for repairs and maintenance, vacancy and non-payment, capital expenditures, right? Like things like the furnaces. Those furnaces in the photos there, those were not new furnaces, right? Those are older furnaces, so they last every 30 years. If I had to guess, those are probably 20 or so year old furnaces. You got to spend 3 G's every time you replace those. Hot water tanks cost a G, last 15 years. Those hot water tanks didn't look very new. The electric was updated. That's nice. But we budget for that stuff every month because we know it's coming. Roof, huge property, probably $6,000, $7,000 roof. No inclination, no reason for us to believe it's going to be a new roof. So, that cost is coming up, but then that'll last you 30 years. So we're budgeting all of that. We don't count that towards your return. Taxes, $129. Insurance, $80. As you guys know, I'm just going to say it again for everyone else, though. I also own a farmer's business, so anybody out there who's looking to lower your insurance rates on your rental properties, click the show notes below. We got a link for you to get a lower quote. It's free. We can do multiple states, multiple markets across the U.S. So if you're just thinking about entering the Cleveland market, if that's why you're watching today's show, but you got property somewhere else, don't worry. We can lower your rate there as well. So check us out. Back to the chart. Water and sewer, you got to pay that for the tenants. That'll be $150. Lawn care, $44. PM, $146. So all told, on average, we're going to spend $768 to run this property. That's going to leave us with an NOI of $697 a month, or $8,364 a year. You guys finance this bad boy. Only got to put down $23,750. Not bad for an 8.8 cap property. After you pay off your mortgage, you're looking at a 20% cash on cash return. So all in all, I think this is a solid deal.
All right, Andy, welcome back. Thank you for contracting to have me go through all these properties with you. I think both of these would be a solid start for your portfolio. Let me and my team know what you're thinking when we give you that email. Again, the email is going to come to you with, number 1, this video. Number 2, the inspection report from 21411 West 81st. And number 3, my list of lenders. But if I had to guess, like I said, I think the best strategy, pay cash, build a portfolio, and then we'll do a big blanket refinance. But if you could work something out even better with those lenders, hey, that's great. More power to you. But I know it's very, very tough to do, especially in trying times like these. But if we adjust and act accordingly, I think we got 2 pretty solid deals that you can pay cash for. And I think that's going to be well on your way. So let's discuss this further via email after you take a look at this video. Everybody else out there, if you are one of those investors who is thinking, hey, I'm ready to act now, I'm willing to take on some risk, I'm willing to invest in the current state of the market right now, I do see the opportunity. I want you to go to holtonwise.com, click on the property search for sale tab. I got 2 shows that are very important for you. First is the investment properties for sale show. Make sure you're subscribed to that mailing list. We are going to send you a property we are selling every single day at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We just email it to you. You bid on the property right there via email. So, hey, man, social distancing. You don't need to go outside, right? You don't got to tour properties. We have full video tours of these properties for you. But the second show, and that's what you're watching right now, that's the MLS Search Analysis Show. Click on that. View our products. We have a ton of options available based on what you're interested in. I think the best thing is to do what Andy did, get a package of 10 so you could work with me and my team back and forth, right? We don't make all 10 and send them to you, okay? We do them a couple at a time, and then we get the chance to get feedback from each other. Maybe I'm taking the video one way and you're like, hey, man, I don't know, let's change gears. Or maybe I'm opening your mind up to some things you hadn't actually thought about and you want to change gears. The fact of the matter is it develops and opens up a long-term relationship between us so we could really work together one-on-one to build you the most profitable portfolio. Because look, man, real estate is a long-time game, guys. You don't become a multimillionaire rental real estate investor overnight. This is a get-rich-slow game. So we need to spend a considerable amount of time together one-on-one so I can help you build the most profitable real estate portfolio possible and give you a complete transparent look into the Cleveland market. So I think the ones you do like Andy did, where we do a ton of properties together, really allows us to get to know each other and understand the goals and and the realities of the market, so to speak, right? And there's no expiration on those too. So if you're only ready to buy one or two right now, and then we do a couple videos, we get you that one or two, you just hit the pause button, and then you can send my team an email in 6 months, 8 months, a year, 24 months, whatever. Hey, I'm ready to buy properties 3, 4, 5, and 6, or wherever you left it off, right? That's what's great about these products. So check that out. Property search tab. Click the MLS search and analysis show, and then all the products and one-on-one products that we've got available, just like this one, are right there for you. So without anything else to say, guys, that's all I got, man. As always, I'm James Wise with Holton Wise, and this is Real Estate Investing Made Easy.
This is your show. This is the show where I work for you directly, taking your needs. I'm going through the MLS, and I'm trying to find the best possible deal for you guys. Put down 25%. That's the perfect way to buy this. That's why real estate investing is the greatest industry in the world.
Based in Indianapolis, Indiana, FS Houses is the premier investment property brokerage. With an in-house property management department that can take care of all those unwanted landlord headaches, FS Houses can offer you the complete turnkey solution, as well as wholesale properties offered to you at a discounted rate. With a network of thousands of active investors, wholesalers, and brokers, FS Houses can help you sell your property for top dollar on the open market or in a hurry to motivated investors seeking distressed real estate. Visit fshouses.com or call 317-492-9025 for more information on the Indianapolis, Indiana real estate.
Rentec Direct provides you with an easy-to-use yet robust platform for managing your properties, complete with its built-in reporting and accounting system that can be customized to fit your business. You can manage work orders and even accept them online from your tenants. You can also share work order details with tenants or owners if you wish. With Rentec Direct, you will also fill your vacancies faster than ever with the built-in marketing tools. Just enter the details of your property and Rentec will automatically provide you with a professional online website, as well as syndicate them to popular websites such as Zillow, Trulia, and Apartments.com to get your listing maximum exposure so it's rented fast.
Cleveland, Ohio is widely considered to be one of the top rental markets in the entire United States. This is because here in Cleveland, our housing prices are low and our rental prices and demand are high. At Holton Wise, we provide the complete turnkey solution for all real estate investors, whether they are local, out of state, or even abroad. As real estate brokers, we will provide you with agent representation to help you buy properties ranging from single-family homes to large apartment complexes. We even have referrals for lenders who can provide investment property loans to investors located in all 50 states, allowing you to capitalize on the use of leverage or other people's money. We have referrals to top-notch title companies so you know that all of your transactions are safe and secure, with every single property being delivered to you with clear title. Once you close on the property, we have an investor-focused insurance brokerage who can handle all your property insurance needs. This insurance brokerage handles auto, home, life, and business policies, but they specialize in working with policies for landlords. We also have full-service property management. We can handle all rental property advertisements, tenant placement, rent collection, evictions, maintenance, landscaping, construction, and repairs. In addition, Holton Wise also offers digital media and education. One day, when you are ready to sell your investment, Holton Wise, as the #1 seller of investment properties in the greater Cleveland area, can market your property in a video just like this one to our worldwide base of investors who are looking to capitalize on the high cash flow opportunities in the Cleveland, Ohio market.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our latest content, including video tours and analysis of investment properties that are available for sale, real estate investment education, and our most interesting encounters with tenants from hell. Holton Wise, real estate investing made easy.